Peace, everyone. It is March 22nd, 2024. It's roughly about 6:30. My name is Jasmine, and this is my journal entry. I've been up since like 5:15, 5:30, but I just been laying around. I had an interesting dream that kind of woke me out of it. But my dreams have been all over the place lately. Um, Everything is going okay. I have noticed that lately, though, that because of my dreams, a lot of old things are starting to come to the surfaces again. It's weird because, you know, you do all this work, you think you heal this stuff, you think you over it, and then something always happens, and it's kind of like sometimes I feel like the joke be on you. Because for a while I'll be fine. Like, you know what? I've been, doing my little inner work, working on forgiveness, working on forgiving myself, trying to grow, be a better person, all this other stuff, and then something to come up and be like, nah, you ain't done yet. It's crazy how certain things they can cut you deep, and it takes a lot of work to kind of fully get over it. I guess my question for myself is, how do I know when I'm fully 100% past something, or do I ever get there? Let's think about it. Okay, so everything is energy, right? You can't destroy energy. You can transmute it or transform it, but you can't destroy it. Like water. If you think about it, all the water that we drink has been on this planet for billions of years. Like we drinking like old water. Um, it's just recycled. You know, it's we drink it, and then we let it out by whatever means, whether we, use the bathroom or we breathe it out. Um, and the air that we breathe out is recycled. That's how our lungs release, excess water, or it's absorbed through the pores of our skin. Kind of like the ocean when it takes water up, and it turns into gas, and then it turns into water again and it rains, right? So the water we're drinking is the same water the water that we take in our bodies is the same water that has been circulating the earth for billions of years, right? Well, if you think about it, that water been through some shit. It's been through storms. It's been through. Um, it's got the cell memories of other people and other things in it. You know what I mean? So the water that we intake, it carries the memory of all of that. So if our bodies are made up of 75% water, right? And this water is absorbed into our cells, is it fair to say that traumatic things that happen are absorbed into our cells, or, absorbed into our bodies? So how do we, transmute that? Because our blood is fluid, like it's blood that circulates our body. But then if you think about it, red blood cells, right? They have a cycle. But this what baffles me. Like, so our red blood cells have a cycle, and I know I'm boring y'all, but I'm getting somewhere. They duplicate. I think it's they live for 120 days, so they duplicate to create more cells, or however they create more cells. So they're just creating memories from the old ones. So it's not like when they die, like that memory of them is going away. They're just replacing themselves every 120 days. Look, I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research because maybe I'm completely off about the human body right now. In which I'm fascinated with. I'm just off. Maybe I'm half asleep, but I just feel like, how do you get rid of some old shit? That's what I want to know. How do you get rid of it? How do you transmute that energy so that when it comes up, it's not painful? Like, why is it? And I think what's really triggering me is that I'm really trying to get some of these projects done. I just feel this overwhelming need to close out some of these cycles, but one of them just happens to be one of them just happens. See, like I'm stuttering talking about it. You see what I mean? One of them just so happens to be a book that I'm writing where I'm being very vulnerable. And I'm writing it with a friend too. So she's been very motivational, but I'm being very vulnerable and very honest about some personal things that I have a lot of difficulty talking about. So, I mean, I can't even get through a paragraph sometime without just feeling weird or feeling triggered or like it's hard to talk about it. So, that's my struggle bus for the week. Oh, yeah, my son forgot to take the trash out last night. I kind of want to hit. But and you know what? I told myself I wasn't gonna cuss my kids out no more, but I did cuss him out this morning because I feel like you about to be 20, dude. Like, why I gotta keep on asking you? Why I gotta tell you to do things that you've been doing since you were 10? This boy has had trash duty since he was 10. Almost 10 years, dude. You've been taking the trash to the curb. Like, why do I have to tell you to take trash to the curb every week? The only time he does it without me telling him to is when he wants something. So I have to go apologize later for yelling because I don't yell at them no more. And I went in. I cussed him out. Yeah, look, I'm not a perfect parent. I'm getting there. It's get yeah. So on another note, I found out I'm going to be a grandma again. My daughter is pregnant, so I'm happy to hear about that. I'm happy for her. She didn't sound happy when she told me, but I'm happy for her. And I remember I was talking to her, and I remember so a while back, people were calling me, telling me like, Jasmine, I had a dream you had a baby. Jasmine, I had a dream you were pregnant. And like people would call me and be like I have students. I don't really pay for readings anymore like that. I did pay it for a numerology consult, but I tell you about it. It was actually gifted to me. But I don't like pay to get reading. I used to pay to get readings all the time. I don't get them no more. I just don't need. And but my students and other people they'll practice on me. And everybody kept seeing this baby. They're like, Jazz, you gonna have a baby? And I'm like, nah. Number one, I don't want no more kids. Number two, my tubes are tied. It's over. It's definitely over. So I'm sitting here thinking, and I realized that it's got to be a grandbaby. So I told my daughter a while back, like, look, people dreaming about me getting pregnant and having babies, and that baby card keep coming out of all the little spreads stuff people pull for me. People keep dreaming that they see me pregnant or they saw me with a little girl or a child. So I told her, like, I think you should get on birth control. And I talked to all my kids, like, hey, y'all want no babies. Y'all need to be doing stuff that y'all need to do, not to get them. I guess she didn't listen. She calls me yesterday and she's upset. And she's like, I'm pregnant and I don't know what to do. So one thing I'm trying to do is break a cycle, and I sat her down and talked to her. And she was like, you know what? I'm just not going to keep it. And I told her, like, though, that is your right. I said, what we're not going to do is use abortions like birth control. You know what I mean? I said, you had plenty of time to plan. You knew what y'all were doing. You could have got birth control. Birth control is damn near free now. If you didn't want to have children right now at the moment. And if you didn't want any more children at all, then you should have got your tubes tied. But we're not going to be running to the abortion clinic every time you, you know, get pregnant. We're not doing that. I made the same mistake when I was younger, and honestly it haunts me to this day. Now look, I'm I'm not in the business of telling people what to do with their bodies, but I want her to, before she makes that decision, I want her to understand the decision that she's making and the consequences that it can have for her emotionally down the line. So I told her, like, you may want to really consider it. There's other options. If you have the baby, you got plenty of family that'll help you or assist you with the baby. You have adoption as a choice. There's just other options besides just saying, you know what, I don't want this baby. I'm just gonna run over here to this. I just I don't want her to go through the emotional things that I had to go through. Now, granted, I can't stop her. It is probably very well meant for her to go through some of the same cycles I went through, just like I had to go through some of the same cycles that my mother went through. I don't want her to, but it's ultimately her choice, and I'm gonna love her through whatever choice she make. So I want to tell you about my So a girlfriend of mine, she calls me and she was like, Jazz, she was like, I had a numerology consult. She let me listen to it and I was like, oh man, that was good. So I was like, you know what? Some I feel like I need one. You know. And what I like about, things like numerology and astrology, it's not necessarily psychic work. It's it's looking at numbers because numbers don't lie. Let's talk math. It's looking at numbers, it's looking at your math and telling you what this means for you. Um what it means in terms of your personality, your life, how things are going to go. You know, Very similar with astrology. They look at the placement of the planets compared to the day you were born, where the planets were when you were born, and they're able to map out this blueprint. In astrology, for people who are professional at astrology, it can become so precise. Like, I've had an astrologist look at my chart and they knew that I lost a father at a young age just by looking at my chart. They knew that I was raped or molested as a kid just by looking at my chart. They knew that I had issues with my mother and I had issues as a mother just by looking at my chart. He was able to tell I had a lot of kids by looking at my chart. That's how precise that stuff can be. And so far, I haven't had anything inaccurate. Like, a lot of they tell me it'd be accurate. So I always recommend people to kind of know, if you don't have to be like a professional, but know the basis. You know, know the basics. Know like the regular things about yourself. So you'll understand or understand how you respond to things or how you act or why your life moves in a certain way. So you could map it the way you want to map it because of course with numbers and astrology there's two sides. There's an upside and there's a downside. It's just up to you on which way you want to move your life or create your life. You could go one way or the other. Shit, one way I could be a very successful woman, but another way I can run a prostitution ring. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what I'm meant to do, I'm gonna do it. But there's two different things that you can do. And look, I'm not knocking prostitution. If that's how you do it, that's fine. That's on you. But anyhow, that was probably hands down one of the best consults I ever had. Like, he helped me to see why I'm feeling the need to hurry up and finish all these projects. He helped me to understand why I felt like I was ending a lot of friendships are ending for me this year. And at first I couldn't figure out why. And then but it's just when they're ending, I don't feel a way about them. If that makes any sense. Like, it's like a little bit of hurt. Like, I had a friendship and I was kind of hurt about it because I felt like the reason why it ended was it didn't to me it didn't amount to the connection that we had. Like, this person didn't like something that I said or something that I did, and they decided to end a friendship that ran for a long time over this one thing, because we disagreed. But that also just kind of told me that it couldn't have been genuine. So I went on ahead and I let this person go because I asked for it. I mean, not that person in particular, but I asked. I said, "Look, if whatever ain't meant to be right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and let go. If it's something that I'm not gonna see, that I'm not seeing, allow it to remove itself." And this one surprised me. This person just kind of excused themselves, and I let them. And it was a few more like that. Another friend, I checked on. I said hi to, checked on to see how they were doing. And they hit me back and said they saw one of my videos. They saw a few demons and they scared of me and they staying away from me. Mind you, we've been friends since we was like 12. And now you scared of me and now I'm the devil. So it's okay. It's just meant that whatever cycle I'm walking into is not meant for you to come. And it's okay. Um, and then there are people that I just stepped away from. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna step away and just focus on myself over here. So a lot of cycles are ending. But I'm also stepping into some new cycles, so I'm meeting a lot of dope people. I'm networking with a lot of dope people. I'm entering into some really great opportunities to kind of expand on new things. And I am enjoying this ride. I'm loving it. I am starting to meet different people that are doing all types of things in the community, in entertainment. You know, um, there are people out there in the community that are actually using who they are and their connections to help other people in the community. And I just feel like I'm starting to really see the direction that I need to go in. So, and when I spoke to the numerologist, this came out in my reading. He told me what cycle I was in, what number year it was for me, and how it was preparing me for next year. And everything he said was precise. Now, usually when I sit down and I have consults, I don't tell people like I have gifts. That's not nothing I just oh yeah, I'm Jasmine, I'm a medium, and that's just not information I parade around. Like, usually people, they'll find out after a while, like, oh, you Jasmine medium, because there's a lot of people in the city that know me. It's not nothing that I don't walk around just telling everybody every single thing about. I just don't like. I don't tell people I'm a registered nurse, but if you ask, I tell you. But I don't run around saying, "Oh, I'm a registered nurse. I'm an RN. I'm an RN, or I'm a DON. I'm a DON. I'm a DON." I just don't. If you ask, I tell you though. But he even seen it. He was like, basically, he told me I had 20/20 vision. And I was like, well, what does that mean? It was based off my date of birth. And he was like, you can see above and you can see here. He said, I won't be surprised if you have like, spiritual gifts. And I was like, I do. He talked about how healing is all throughout my name and in my energy. And he was like, you can do something like create your own medicines. And I do. I just don't advertise it right. I don't advertise it a lot, but I am into herbalism and I do study and I do try to compound and make things. Um, he talked about a book. He said there's some books you need to write, you need to finish. It's in your numerology. I got three of them. It's just that he was on point about everything, and he was talking about what's blocking me because I'll get so far in a project and then I'll feel stuck. And he was like, "You have a lot." He told me I had a lot of self doubt in my chart. He's like, "It's doubt." He said it's self doubt, and he was just telling me like there's two sides to numbers. And he was like, he told me like from looking at my numerology, I have the capacity to do all of these things, but I have to stop doubting myself. So I struggle with that. You know, how many times have you started some like beautiful projects, things you wanted to do, started doing things, and then you started doubting yourself? Like I even kind of stopped this because I was doubting myself. I'm like, don't nobody listen to this shit. I'm talking to myself. But then people are starting to ask. People started to ask like, when Jasmine's journal coming back? When you gonna start talking again? I love listening to your sessions. So I'm like, why am I stopping? Because I feel like because I don't have a million people listening. I'm happy for my 23, 24 people that be listening. Thank you. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna talk to my 23, 24 people whenever I feel like putting out a journal entry. Maybe through some of my words, I can help motivate you to move in a different direction or to make some changes. Or maybe through talking to y'all can understand that y'all ain't the only one. And even as a spiritual teacher and someone that you know teaches people, I like to be vulnerable in saying that I'm human too and I have my human issues and I make the same mistakes like anybody else do. and my shit stank just like everybody else. I ain't no better or worse than nobody else. Hell, my students be giving me advice like, Jazz, maybe you should do it this way. I'm like, thank you. Because I'm always going to be a student too, teacher and a student. I'm always a student. I'm always learning something new. But that numerology reading was dope. And I decided that I'm going to probably if I get any more consults or readings, I'm going to do that yearly. That, and I need to find me a really good astrologist that's not charging like $400. Shoosh. But those are two things that I'm going to invest in once a year: numerology and astrology. Those are the two things. No more um psychic intuitive readings. And it's funny, I know y'all saying, how you gonna say that and you do it? I know. But if I do get one, it might be yearly just to kind of get a highlight of the year. But I just don't really feel like they necessary no more. And then if you are practicing psychic or a medium and then you practice it regularly, over years you get stronger. And I'm starting to kind of see things about myself before they come. Like lately, it's weird though. So first, I had a vision that I was with Howard, that's my boyfriend, and I had a vision that for some reason I had a vision that he had all this money, and it was just coming to him from everywhere, and it was just piling up around him. It was more money than ever that he didn't even know what to do with it. It was just coming everywhere. It was just coming out of his shirt, out of his pants. It was falling out of the air, but it just kept piling up around him. And that can be figurative, but I knew it instantly. I said, you're gonna come into some money. And I told him, I said, I feel like it's gonna be like enough money or income to where it's gonna keep coming. Like residual. I don't know if it's gonna be something's gonna happen to where you're gonna keep coming into money. And he was like, you know what? He's like, I believe you. Or I've been feeling that lately. And then he told me that he didn't tell me, but he had this feeling that he was like, I got a feeling that financially we gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be good. We're gonna be more than good. And he said, he's like, I had this feeling like we're gonna have enough money because we always talk about how we gonna help the community. What can we do in the community? How can we give back? What type of businesses we can start. And he was like, I have a feeling. He was like, he told me he had a feeling that we are going to be able to do that. Something is coming. So lately, as of the past, I say few weeks or so, I just been having this overwhelming feeling that something big is coming. And I feel like it's going to be something I've been wanting for a long time, and I've gotten to the point to where I can read myself and I can read signs enough to know when, okay, this is not my imagination. I'm not tripping. Something is about to shake and something is about to be very different. And I feel it in my blood like something's coming. Something's great is coming. And I feel like it's going to give me an opportunity to do I'm not going to say what I've wanted to do, but what I feel I'm here to do. I have always felt since I was a little kid that I'm here to touch a lot of people, or I'm here to help a lot of people. I have this overwhelming compassion to be a service to people, but I could never figure out, okay, how precisely. I do mediumship, but it's not on this big scale yet. I say yet because I don't know what the future has in store for me. But how can I help a lot of people? The mediumship, yes, I help people one by one, but how can I help a lot of people at one time? You know, how can I how can I serve as a role model for people to help uplift them vibrationally or help heal them or help them? You would think that my book would make sense that I ain't put out yet. I'll spend a lot less energy if I just put everything I know or everything I feel or everything I went through in that book and put the book out and people are like, you know what? Okay, oh my gosh, your book helped me. Like Iyanla Van Zandt, she saved my life with her books. I ain't never met that lady. I have never had a personal conversation with that lady. I mean, I was in one of her groups and she like interacted through like, text on one of her lives, but I've never met this lady in person and had a personal conversation with her. And it disheartens me that she's almost 70 because I want to meet this woman before she dies. Her and Oprah, I want to meet them too. I just really, 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 I am going to meet Iyanla Van Zandt and Oprah before they pass away or before I die because I might go first. I got to meet them. I love her and that she's so no nonsense. She'll cuss your ass out too. She'll let you, well, she won't cuss you out nowadays, but she'll let you know the truth. But it's always with love and it's always with compassion. I just love that about her. That's what I liked about my teacher. Ali, he gonna give it to you straight. No chaser. But it's always with love. Like he ain't gonna serve you no bullshit. And that's why I'm I make sure when I go to him or I ask him for anything that I'm serious and I take his advice seriously because I know he's not gonna bullshit me around. But anyhow, that'll be my goal for the next year. So my question for you that I want you to think about today is what blockages do you feel like you have that are holding you back from getting to that next level? What are your blockages? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? How can you get past those blockages so you can actually do what you're here to do? Is it self-doubt? Is it lack of confidence? Is it procrastination? I think I got a little bit of all of that. Is it laziness? I got a little bit of that too. Or do you just simply not know what to do? Are you delusional? Some of us be delusional. Like you just think that something's going to fall into your lap, and it don't necessarily happen like that. Some people, and it happens for some people, but most of us, we gotta get out there. We gotta work. A lot of people who where they are today, who are doing their best, they had to work their ass off to do it. Like if I think about how I got here today with the mediumship, and I'm still learning and growing, I had to work my ass off. I had to read books. I had to study other mediums so I can learn from them. I had to study myself so I could figure out how my subconscious or my conscious interprets the messages that were coming to me. That took a lot of work. It took a lot of spiritual work. It took a lot of work on myself. When I became a nurse, I had to go to nursing school. Nursing school is not for the weak. Okay, it's not easy. I had to go to nursing school, in order to get to where I am in my position. I had to work to get there. I had a lot. I, I've, I've fallen a lot of times and had to get back up and keep going. So I have to understand that these things that I'm going through right now, these emotions, these ups and downs, these roller coasters, it's nothing unique to my journey. The thing is pushing through them. Okay, that ends our session. I love you all. I hope you'll have a wonderful day. Love on yourselves, love on your family, love on your kids. You know, make sure you're complimenting yourself, making sure you're not saying negative things about yourself or hurtful things about yourself or calling yourself names. You can still call yourself out and not call yourself names. Make sure you're doing all of that. I hope you find peace and happiness. And I'm going to work. Peace.